Section 1 of The Poetry of Sa'di, a selection. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For further information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Algy Pug. A selection from the poetry of Saadi Shirazi, edited by Nathan Haskell Dole and Bell Walker. Biography of Sa'di. Shaikh Sa'di, the nightingale of Shiraz, as Jami poetically calls this gifted poet, was born at Shiraz, the capital of Persia, near the end of the 12th century. All biographers agree that he lived to be over 100 years old, Daulat Shah even crediting him with 120 years. Shaykh Musli-ud-Din, for that is Sa'di's real name, was patronized by Atabak Sa'd ibn Zangi, the viceroy of Persia, hence his Takhallus, Sa'di, to which was added, as a great honour, the title of Sheikh. At this time the college at Baghdad was the great educational centre of the East, and there Sa'di was educated. He was of a religious temperament, and is said to have made 14 pilgrimages to Mecca. These journeys took place during the second period of his life, for most writers divide Sa'di's life into 3 parts: the first devoted to study, the second to travel, and the third to seclusion, for at Shiraz he built himself a hermitage, and there, when over 60, he devoted himself to his great literary career. Emerson, commenting on his varied experience, says, "By turns a student, a water-carrier, a traveller, a soldier fighting against the Christians in the Crusades, a prisoner employed to dig trenches before Tripoli, and an honoured poet in his protracted old age at home, his varied and severe experience took away all provincial tone, and gave him a facility for speaking to all conditions. But the commanding reason of his wider popularity is his deeper sense, which, in his treatment, expands the local forms and tints to a cosmopolitan breadth. Through his Persian dialect he speaks to all nations, and, like Homer, Shakespeare, Cervantes, and Montaigne, is perpetually modern. Indeed, he has furnished the originals of a multitude of tales and proverbs which are current in our mouths, and attributed by us to recent writers, as, for example, the story of Abraham and the fire-worshippers, once claimed for Dr. Franklin, and afterwards traced to Jeremy Taylor, who probably found it in Olearius. His works number 24. Among those best known are the Gulistan, or Rose Garden, and the Bustan, or the Garden of Perfume. The Gulistan is a collection of short, pithy stories, based on Sa'di's own varied experiences, and read, it is said, from the middle of China to the extreme corners of Africa, forming as it does the basis of instruction in Mohammedan schools. In his preface to the Gulistan, Sa'di tells how he came to write the book. "It happened once that I was benighted in a garden, in company with one of my friends. The spot was delightful, the trees intertwined. You would have said that the earth was bedecked with glass spangles, and that the knot of the Pleiades was suspended from the branch of the vine. A garden with a running stream, and trees from whence birds were warbling melodious strains, that filled with tulips of various hues, these loaded with fruits of several kinds. Under the shade of its trees the zephyr had spread the variegated carpet. In the morning, when the desire to return home overcame our inclination for remaining, I saw in his lap a collection of roses, odoriferous herbs, and hyacinths, which he had intended to carry to town. I said, 'You are not ignorant of the fact that the flower of the garden soon fadeth, and that the enjoyment of the rose-bush is but of short continuance. And the sages have declared that the heart ought not to be set upon anything that is transitory.' He asked, 'What course is then to be pursued?' I replied, 'I am able to form a book of roses, which will delight the beholders and gratify those who are present, whose leaves the tyrannic arm of the autumnal blasts can never affect, nor injure the blossoms of its spring. What benefit will you derive
Sample complete. Ready to continue?